So if you watch enough of my videos, you'll notice over time that I do a lot of improvised things. Even though I have enough money to buy gear, often I find the case is that I don't find exactly what I need in the gear stores, and so I like to improvise, and hey, if you can save a few bucks at it, why not, you know? Uh, I use all kinds of containers, tins and pill vials, squeeze bottles, bouillon containers, peanut butter containers, a lot of them. And they're all very effective, I think, for using to make improvised containers for carrying gear in, or improvised survival kits. I like to compartmentalize my stuff inside my packs, my deployment bags, my bug-out bags, my camping gear. And a great way to do it is by using containers. Now, so straight off, what's so good about a peanut butter container is that it's airtight and watertight once that lid is tightened down. It's also can be left clear if you want it to, and you could set it up for a carry in that way, or you could just put your stuff in it and leave it in your pack as is. But I prefer to set it up in more of a way that I can strap it to my pack, or set it up in a way that it's more usable for survival. And so the first thing I did is I wrapped some duct tape around this across the bottom and the sides. This is going to give it a little more shock resistance, so that when it falls it bounces rather than breaks or cracks. And even if it does get crushed somehow, it's going to hold together a little. And of course I use red because red represents fire, or something that has to do with cooking or heat or something, fuel. And what I want to do is I want to make some loops on this and attach it in a way that I can hang this off a pack or a deployment bag or a belt or whatever I'm working with on any particular day. So I simply make a very basic loop like so. That's going to enable me to get a carabiner through there. And then I want to figure out where I want another loop on the other side. So take a basic measurement using my fingers, and yeah, I think that's going to work. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to wrap paracord around, and that's going to hold my loops on. Now I'm one of those people that I cut my paracord. I know that there are some people that don't like to cut paracord. They carry around 50 and 100 foot lengths and keep it that way, and I certainly respect that, but for me it just doesn't work out. I find that when you carry a 100 foot length of paracord around and you go to use it for different things like multiple anchor points, etc., it's not very convenient to work with, and also it tangles quite a bit, so it's just not something I want to work with. There are times when you need long lengths of paracord, but I find that if you have several shorter lengths, you could always tie them together and get that long length you need when the occasion arises that you need it. So this is one of the methods I use for not only carrying more paracord around, but also creating more shock resistance for the container and an improvised carry for the container. And so I get quite a few coils around this, and I've measured out how much paracord I actually get on this, and it comes to about 15 feet, give or take. And so there, I have this improvised setup here, but the trick is now to get it to hold in place, and the way to do that is again with tape. Okay, so while the camera was down, I was changing my battery because it went dead, but anyway, I cut the paracord and I held the paracord on in place with a little piece of tape to just keep it there while I was playing around with my battery. Anyway, cut my paracord, and I cut that part out. I used this knife. I found this knife, by the way. I was out trail walking one weekend last year, and lo and behold, there was a knife laying there. So it's mine now. Anyway, bring your wrap up around this way, and you're going to want to tie it off so that this piece doesn't come loose this way, which it can do over time if you don't secure it properly with the tape. So I'm going to secure it by tying it off, and I know you can't see what I'm doing with my fingers, but I'm bringing it through under here and back around this way, and then I'll just knot it off again. And I'll skip that part and come to where okay, so I've got it tied off and it's nice and secure now. And by the way, I did change my mind in how I wanted to tie it off while I was off camera. I changed it up a little bit and I'm more satisfied with this. You can see it's very tight, it's very secure, it's not going in either direction. Very tight. And I'm going to fold this down and I'm going to tape it up and I'll show you the end results. So here's the new one, okay, and here's the old one. This is one I made early in spring, and I've been carrying it pretty much all summer long, since early spring. And you see it is attached to my deployment bag, and it just enables me to carry a little more gear than will fit conveniently in my deployment bag. And in this case, it happens to be fruit and nuts. Yeah, so I didn't have enough room to carry food and beverage inside my deployment bag, so here's something to carry beverage and here's something to carry food. So that's my tip on making improvised containers. I'm sure there's a lot of good ideas out there, but this is just one that I think works for me. It gives me a nice solid container that's very shock resistant. You can see I can push on this and drop it. It's waterproof, airtight. It's going to protect food. It's going to keep your fire kit dry. Whatever you need to use these for, a hygiene kit, whether it's inside a pack or outside. I think it's a good idea. If there's other ones out there, hey, put them out there. I'd like to see them. And if you can see a way of improving this, let me know.